Hi, Miss Smith. My name is Lorie Berta with Omnivisions. I'm a family intervention specialist in our family preservation unit. I'm meeting with you today to go over our client rights and responsibilities informed consent packet of information, as well as to complete your intake packet so that we can start services with you. DCS has deemed us as the agency to provide needed resources for you and your family to either come back together so that your children can come home out of foster care or to help prevent your children going into foster care. This information not only has our procedural information, but it has a service agreement. It outlines the different services that we deliver. It gives you vital information in terms of contact information, not only my contact information, but my supervisors, as well as her supervisors, as well as her supervisors' information, all the way up to the president of the company. The first part is our service agreement. We here at Omnivisions have been tasked with writing the service plan and providing the needed services to you by DCS so that you and your family have the strongest chance of remaining an intact unit or coming together as an intact unit. I have been given the privilege of becoming your worker for that currently. DCS has asked that we work with you in any number of fields. It could be family therapeutic visitation, it could be parental education, it could be domestic violence or anger management, it could be any number of those. It could be resource linkage, it could be a variety or a bevy of things, such as good communication, help with learning how to clean a household adequately. I have the educational background as well as the personal experience of doing those things. So DCS has entrusted you to my care. In order for the services that I provide to you to be the maximum that they could be, we do ask a few things of you, i.e., client rights and responsibilities. So, the first part of what I'm going to go over is your rights. Number one, you have the right to be treated respectfully, you have the right to be treated with care, you have the right to have your personal and private information protected by me. I'm under the same rules and regulations that doctors and nurses are under in HIPAA, the Health Information Privacy Act. You have the right to be treated without regard to your race, color, national origin, or religion per Title VI in the state of Tennessee. I can't keep you from any of our services based on anything of that nature. You have the right to ask questions about your plan. You have the right to seek out other information if you so need to. You have the right to ask me questions. You have, in fact, that responsibility of asking me questions if there's something that you don't know. There's so much that you have the right and responsibility to do. And this packet of information outlines it very clearly. But I want to hit the highlights for you today. Uh, you have the responsibility for doing outside assignments sometimes if I ask or deem them necessary. Let me give you an example of this. For instance, if we're talking about chore charts in parenting education, I very well could and will ask you to come up with a chore chart for your children. Um, And it's very important that you do that assignment in a timely manner and that you put full effort into it. I'm going to be putting full effort into the services that I deliver. I ask in turn that you do the same to me. This additional casework is a huge help when it comes to planning and linking and addressing your particular needs. At the end of this, during the intake session of our time today, we're going to be writing a service plan, you and I together, for your family. It's going to include parenting education if you need it. It's going to include all of the services that DCS deems that you need to provide a healthy and happy home for your family. But it's also going to be able to include things that you feel like you need. For instance, if you feel like you and your wife need to work on your communication skills, we can write up that as part of your service plan. This service plan is tailor made for you, between you and I. You have the ability and the right for that service plan to change with your family's needs. For instance, if something comes up later about anger management, then we have the ability to amend that service plan and add those services in. That's a right that you have. You have the right for your service plan to address the needs that you have. We're going to be working on that, like I said, later today. But this service plan is your opportunity for your home and school and community resources to meet your specific needs. I can't do that without you being open and honest about the information that you provide me, i.e., correct address, correct contact information, correct medical information as it's applicable to behavioral issues or home issues or medical needs. This service plan is going to not only address those needed resources, but it also takes into account current court orders, probation expectations, and safety plans that DCS and the state of Tennessee has outlined for you. All of that can be included and is expected to be within that service plan. You as our client have certain rights and responsibilities. Like I said, we discussed already the fact that your personal information is vitally important to me. I keep that as close and as confidential as I can. I don't share it with anybody except for those in my company that have need of that information, which you sign a consent for, or DCS. For instance, I promise I'm not going to contact your physician without a needed consent signed. I'm not going to contact your school and get information on your kids without you signing a consent. We don't do those things here at OmniVisions, nor does your school teacher have the ability to call me and me just spill all the beans about your children in our sessions together. I keep you and your family's information as confidential, and probably more so than I keep my own family's information confidential. You have the right to receive your services in a language that you choose, your own personal heart language. If that's not English, then we will provide an interpreter service for you. You have the right to report any abuse or mistreatment that I may complete upon your family. In other words, if I mistreat you, or if I make you feel bad, or if there's something that I say that you take great offense to, then you have the right to call my boss, or call DCS, or call the state of Tennessee on me. I take my job very seriously. And if there's something that I do or say that is harmful to you, I need to be made aware of that. I would like to know that you feel comfortable enough with me towards and during our service that you would say, Lorie, that's not okay to say. But if it needs to be addressed by my supervisors, by all means call them and let them know. You're expected to participate fully in all services in the development of your service plan. You're expected, like I said, to provide accurate information not only to Omnivisions but to DCS. If at any point this personal information, such as contact information, changes, I do ask that you let me know. Just as I'm expected to treat you with respect and dignity, I ask that you treat me with the same. It's important, especially in services with your children, that they understand the right way to treat other people. And you, as their parent, are the main way that they learn those things. I wish to also notify you that I'm a mandated reporter. In the state of Tennessee, that means that if I see, witness, or feel as though there's abuse, neglect going on, or mistreatment of any type, that I may have to involve someone other than me in that issue. I will let you know if I feel that things are going in a bad direction, and I will show you how to correct it or redirect it. But if I feel like something has gone over the line, then I may have to involve someone else in that issue. I also have the duty to protect you. For instance, if you come in and state that you just don't want to go on living and you plan on committing suicide, I have to involve other people in protecting you as much as we can from you. If you come in with a substantiated or a very specific threat against someone else, for instance, if a husband comes in and says that he's going to go home and harm his wife, I have the duty to warn and protect the wife as well as warn the police about that incident. Understand that you have equal access to our programs and our services and grievance policies, no matter what race, color, national origin, or religion you are. The handbook, again, that you're going to receive today outlines all of these procedures, not only the services side, but also the addresses and the phone numbers to file grievances. Omnivisions offers you the ability to communicate with us through any number of means: telephone, writing, email, as well as text messaging. I will warn you that text messaging can't always be as thoroughly vetted, or it is not always as threat resistant as other forms of communication. So if you do converse with me via text message, I can't tell you that it's being hacked, but I can also tell you that it's not being hacked. I would hope that it's not, but I do have the duty to warn you that text messaging is not as safe as other means of communication. Omnivisions requires me to accurately track and keep track of services and contact with our clients. We do that by a monthly contact log, or I'll call it an MCL a lot. This MCL has the date, the start time and the end time, the type of service that we provided, as well as where that service was located. And then I ask you to sign it. You have the ability at any time during the month to ask to see your MCL or your monthly contact log to make sure that I'm not lying on it. I'm not, but you have the ability to see that. That monthly contact log is also able to be subpoenaed not only by you but by your DCS caseworker for in court. After every session, I also feel the need to tell you that I complete a contact note. This contact note is seen by only my supervisor, my direct supervisor, as well as DCS caseworkers. So that contact note outlines those things that I said on the monthly contact log, but also addresses specific information that we discussed. For instance, if we're discussing a parent education class and we're talking about appropriate children activities for a 3-year-old, then that's what my case note's going to indicate. My case note is going to indicate positive things and growth that I see during that meeting. If something goes wrong and I have to redirect, that case note will reflect that so that we can accurately view growth throughout the services. Those notes are able to be subpoenaed not only by you, but also by DCS caseworkers. I'm also leaving you with guidelines concerning visitation in our family support services. It outlines what your expectation should be. It outlines what my expectations are. I'm leaving you with names and numbers of my supervisors, like I said before. I'm also leaving you with a list of emergency crisis numbers, like I said before. And I'm also including the list and the contact link for a really cool website called Kids Central Tennessee. And this Kids Central Tennessee has a downloadable app, and it has games and information for you and your children. Miss Smith, it's been a really big pleasure meeting with you so far. So right now we're going to go into writing your particular service plan. What I want to do is we're going to take a 5 or 10 minute break, and then we'll come back together and write your service plan based on your needs as well as what DCS outlined in your permanency plan. Thanks so much for meeting with me today, Miss Smith. Bye bye.